Yeah, you're already littering. Okay, so when you come into class, this is kind of fun because it's like always every 3 weeks there's a new first day of school. What cohort are you? I know you're not Believe. I'm sorry. I would have changed it. We don't know, do we?
Justified.
Justified.
We are justified. Yeah, we're justified.
So it's true that you're justified. Do you saw that coming? Nice. We get each other. And class has started. All right, so I'll figure out your name. Some of you actually know.
No. No.
Wendy, I know. If I butcher your name and some of your names, I might. A little bit. Is it Luke?
Yeah.
Doing pretty good then. I'm not going to butcher anything. Luke. There's no little, there should be a little, right? Luke. If you want me to call you something else, just let me know. Wendy, I know. Dr. Steve. That's his educational doctorate, which is frowned upon by PhDs, but it's okay. I got your back with your EDD. What else do I know? Okay. All right. G1?
Yeah.
I'm calling you G1?
Yeah.
Cool. I like that. Better than Charles, right? Sehyun? Am I going to call you that? Yeah. Sehyun. All right. So it's not Luke. Sehyun. Sinu? Sanao. It's better than Sina, right? Yeah. Sanao. Steve, Luke, Phoebe. Sanao, Phoebe, Sehyun. Hannah. She is. Like that. It's better than saying here. William. There he is. Easy enough. Mark. Cool. Kiki. Awesome. Kiki. We're good. Everybody's here. Awesome. So we're looking at with us for our, it's only weeks, weirdly enough, 4 days. So 4 whole 80-minute blocks, sense perception as a way of knowledge. Pretty straightforward. We will be looking at 3 different experiments. So we'll kind of start one today. Most of you will get halfway through with it because there's a little pair thing. We'll come back the next day, whatever that rotation is, next Monday or whatever it's going to be, Tuesday. And the second person will go. On day 2, we'll start some other experiment, which is based on a documentary film. We'll do that for a day and a half. And on that last day, we'll come in and do our last physical experiment. So we got a couple things to ask you to physically do, which makes sense with sense perception. We'll watch some documented business, which is a film. It's pretty cool. Subject matter is fantastic, and it works very, very well with our way of knowledge and also our areas of knowledge. Cool. For each of these, all 3, I'll ask you to go home, and there's a task sheet for most of them except for the last one because it's very simple. And just look at the prompts. Some of the prompts will have some open-ended questions, that you're sort of thinking about things. We'll call them reflective in nature. Those interactions, we'll call them reflections, can be very loose on your part, right? Don't write a massive essay. Just write something smart and poignant. We'll talk about a lot of that stuff in class, and maybe our conversations could be the basis for your reflection. On that last day, or I'll give you a week up until I have that last day, I'm not too concerned about that. There'll be a Dropbox. You take any one of those 3 events, be it the film we talked about, the experiment will start today, then the last experiment on the final day. Take any one of those 3, and you can turn that into a more formalized reflection, which has some sort of introduction. It's not an essay, but it's a little bit more polished, a little more refined. Some sort of introduction, some sort of development, and some sort of thought-provoking conclusion. So if you didn't get half of that, it's not a problem because we got 4 days to get it all. I just wanted you to have a good idea about what we'll be doing for these 4 ways of knowledge sense perception days. So the process, we'll come in, we'll look at this every day. This is essentially an online presentation. It's like a PowerPoint. You will have access to this in a couple of minutes. It's also linked on our grade 11 Moodle. So if you miss a day, don't forget, you can catch the other one, right? How that works. Also, if you want to look at this ahead of time, just remind yourselves what we're going to be doing. And if you have to go home and remind yourself what we did, it's there. If stuff is underlined in blue, it is a link. You can click on it. Things will open up. We also have a document, which I'll show you in a second, which has all the other links. So everything's in Moodle in some form or fashion. Sometimes Moodle isn't the easiest to find stuff because there's 3 teachers on there, probably less easy. But you can get things directly from this, and we have an Etherpad called TOK links, which really has the same language and the same link. So if you're not sure what stuff is, you'll get it, you can download it, you can hold on to it, and the links will stay there forever. So if you're not sure how you got to that a couple days before, you can go back to that. This will be particularly important because of the whole weird 4-day thing. You'll forget, and it's like, well, you'll know what we're doing, but how to access those things quickly, it won't be a problem because they're all over the place. So how about you open up your computers? I'll give you a URL real quick. Bless you. Click on the one that says daily objectives. See what that does. And it should open this guy up. You can equally open up the one called something to the effect. I'm sorry, I didn't give you the link. Sorry. I did say it quickly like 8 seconds ago. It's Etherpad. If you don't know the Etherpad URL, it's etherpad.aisgz.org. It's for all of them. Ours is / all lowercase TOK links. If you're able to get to that through dictation, you're pretty awesome. And there it is at the top if you can read that. So etherpad.aisgz.org / TOK. There's tons of stuff on here. Everything we need is on there. I don't expect you to go through this. I mean, it's just a quick reference to get to these. That's all it is. Super easy. So if you think about like you're going to cook something, right? You're in the process of heating up some sort of wok. It's a lot easier to have the stuff already sort of laid out. We call that amazing class, right? That's all this is. You could run back to the cupboard, which is Moodle every 2 seconds and find things. I'm just trying to make things weird. So open up this guy here. Do you really know what's in there? This is a link to something you should have already seen in your other 2 classes. This is when all 3 of the cohorts are having their sort of day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 obligations, homework, whatever you want to call that. Find the one called daily objectives. You can Command F and hit daily. It should show up. So I can go ahead and shove it at the top to make it even easier than easy. Let's see what this does. There they are. Literally at the top. How did I see that? So if you open this guy up, you will get this. Bookmark that. However you decide to bookmark that. If you're working with Chrome, Chrome's pretty cool. Once you open, twice in Chrome, your browser already knows where you're going when you start to type the word daily. You can Command D that, and it'll automatically bookmark. You can call it whatever you want. Just hold on to it. It is in Moodle, but because it exists in the internet independently, it's much easier to get to it this way. Steve's like, just like grade 9 stuff. We did this in grade 9. Yes, we did. All right. So we'll start off super slow. We're going to watch a film. I think technically it's just called a video, so don't get too excited. Not really a movie, just a video. Super easy. If you know what this is, keep your mouth shut. If you don't, just follow the directions. They're quite simple. Daniel is super simple in his directions. So it's called the monkey business experiment. Here we go.
The monkey business illusion.
It's way too loud. Way too loud, Daniel. Easy. Count how many times the players wearing white pass the basketball. Now, let's be clear. A pass means it goes from one player's hands to the other player's hands. No chasing around, okay? So it's got to be a complete pass. Steve, do you know this? Then keep it shut, Luke. Okay? Silence, s'il vous plaît, Luque.
Count how many times the players wearing white pass the ball.
White team, how many times? Don't count out loud. Don't share your answers. Some of you will be correct. Some of you might be wrong. There's a correct answer. It is a number. All right. Nice and quiet. Dr. Steve, shut it. Got a number? All right. How about you share that number with the people at your table? Just a number. Share the number.
I got 15.
You got 15? What did you get? All three got 15?
I got 16.
All right. Okay.
I think it's probably 16.
So if you say like 6, you're probably in trouble. If you're like 14, 15, 16 is what generally people say. This one. What'd you guys get? 15, 15, and 16. Everybody got 16? What'd you guys? Everybody got 16. What'd you get?
I have 14, but I know that
All right. So 14 was some knowledgeable error. Boom!
Yes.
So you two were wrong, and you were correct. No, thank you. You're a strong counter. But that might not have been everything.
Correct answer is 16 passes.
Yay, or no.
Did you spot the gorilla?
Now it's yes or no. Now we just raise our hands. Who saw the simian, higher primate, the gorilla? Raise your hand. Well, let's do this. All right. You were eating an apple, counting, and saw the gorilla. You are talented. Now let's do this. If you did not see that gorilla, raise your hand. Okay. So there's 11 of you, 3 of you. That's oddly about what it usually is. It's usually 4 out of 10 or 3 out of 10. This is a little higher, a little lower. Let's watch.
For people who haven't seen or heard about a video
People who are not Luke and Steve.
like this before, about half missed the gorilla. If you knew about the gorilla, you probably saw it. But did you notice the curtain changing color or the player on the black team leaving the game?
Now we have 3 variables. Who, just raise your hand, who noticed that the black player went away? Using now, right? So 1.5, she's not quite sure. She's like, I think I did. All right, and you were quite confident with it. Okay. Now we had the basically whatever it was, 30-something% did not see the gorilla, and now about 90% of you did not, or 82 whatever percent did not see the black player leave. Who was able to notice the color variation change of the curtain in the background? Who? You did?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not
Okay,
sure.
you
I don't
noticed it, or you're not sure.
Are they lying to me now?
Are you lying to us?
From what color did it change?
You guys are at least honest. I had a couple people that was like, I saw everything. You know they were lying. Extremely competitive.
It changed to white.
Don't say anything. So maybe you did, maybe you didn't. That's cool. We're going to have that same kind of weird conversation today about things you think you might know or think you might have seen. And then someone else can be like, no. So why did you think that? Steve, we'll go ahead and have a slight conversation. Steve, who's already seen this experiment or some variation of, maybe you were predisposed to know that that was there because it is part of the experiment, right? So maybe the version you saw, or maybe you actually saw this version. So you we all know what the joke is. It's the gorilla. And so maybe you had some prior knowledge, some slight prior knowledge you could have forgotten about, going back to the way of knowledge, which is memory. Also faith, also creativity. You came up with white. It wasn't white.
Oh.
But it did go lighter, which sort of supports your answer. Let's rewind.
Let's rewind and watch it again.
Whoa, awesome. He's a super large and obnoxious gorilla. It's not like some little Where's Waldo thing on the corner.
Here comes the gorilla, and there goes a player, and the curtain is changing from red to gold.
All three. Now, the gorilla was not small. Now, I think we all can have a decent answer. If you did not see the gorilla, or why would someone not notice that? Not good. All right, so how can we quantify that? Because of what?
Because they're only paying attention to.
It's another thing. So your focus, your sight, if you will, that sense is focused on just the white parts. So that makes sense. You said you noticed the gorilla because the black person left. Is that what you said? Oh, sorry. Yeah, correct. You wouldn't notice because of the black person. So what does that do? What factor is there? So focus on white. And what other sort of variable are we talking about with that black player and the gorilla exchanging roles and not being noticed by someone? They're equal numbers, right? So you notice or don't notice, unconsciously, subconsciously, there are three black amorphous things moving in your, which is essentially your background because it's not your area of focus. If the gorilla came on and the girl didn't leave, you might all of a sudden notice there's an increase in that color or increase in numbers, and therefore something's going on. Or at least she's trying to be all quiet with that, right? We appreciate that. Okay. So there's numbers. We got numbers, balance, right, which works for us with our visual appeal or visual distraction, whatever you want to call that. Sometimes we see things that just don't look right. We see it immediately. Things that are just sort of already there, we don't notice. That works for people, right? You'll notice people who are abnormally X or overtly Y. Oh, check that out, right, Steve? Man, that guy's smart. Check him out. Look at him. Look how smart he is. Doesn't make any sense, right? How about the color combinations? How does that work? If the gorilla wasn't black, that would have been problematic. You would notice potentially a pink gorilla or a green gorilla. Makes sense. What about the size?
About the same.
It's about the same. Also think about the animal. If some lion creature, somebody crawling on the ground as an animal, or some sort of quadruped, it wouldn't have made sense. But the gorilla and simians, all of us being in the same category of mammals, physically makes sense. Okay. Focus on one thing, you got the numbers. And what works with black and white? Makes sense. We might not know the science behind it, or even like the ID art principle behind it. I see. Why black and white? Well, what if it was blue and purple? Would you notice that purple gorilla coming on in the purple player? Probably, because you would have been more conscious of the fact that purple and blue are very close, and you need to be a little bit more discerning in which is which. Black and white, because they're bipolar opposites, right? They're contrary colors. It's easy to focus on one and not the other. Anything else with this? Why might you have not noticed? We already got the focus, but what about the changing of the curtain from what was it, red, and I think he calls it, Daniel calls it gold. Why would we have not picked up on that color change?
The two colors are quite similar.
They're in the same color group. They're both warm colors, right? They're
Yeah.
complementary colors. Just like the purple and blue are complementary colors, yellow and orange are also complementary colors. Correct? And you notice when your friend wears those two things, like pants with that shirt, you're like, oh, what do you do? Can't wear brown with pink or whatever that is, or orange and purple. Wait, orange and purple work. What doesn't work? Pink and red apparently don't, but because they're, depends on what you look like. If you were a ginger, you can't ever wear pink. Trust me, I got some redheaded friends, and as soon as they wear that pink shirt, they look like some kind of weird baby mouse. It's like, yeah, go change. Cool.
When you're looking for a gorilla, you often miss other unexpected events.
Correct.
And that's the monkey business illusion.
So what sort of analogous connection can we make with this? All right, so yeah, I'm not going to get paid to find people dressed as gorillas walking out to some kind of weird basketball experiment. Doesn't make any sense. But what can we liken this to in life? If you focused on what happens? You miss out on other things. And so sometimes we got like belief systems and knowledge. What about people who are allegedly eyewitnesses of some sort of accident or some sort of crime or anything like that? Right? We know what happens when some football player gets hurt. There's the ball. It's right there. We all saw it. That's our focus. It makes sense. So we get so upset with the referee. It's like, referee. We're all right there. But what happens at the other end of the pitch? The ball's on this end and something's over here. Who's to trust anybody when their focus was allegedly on that? How can we trust them? Same thing with anything else, right? You're driving down the road and apparently you see something on the side in your peripheral vision that happens. How are you allegedly some sort of confidential or some sort of reliable witness for that? All sorts of fantastic things. We have things that are either work together, don't work together. You're focused here, and how are you really paying attention? It could even work with you allegedly multitasking with your computer, 6,000 other things, and, and trying to get your homework done at the same time, right? And you know who you are. If we open your computers, see what you got there, bro. You're done? Make it work. What's the light on that? Hit command, tab. All right, how many programs do you have open? Were you aware that all 6 programs are open? No? See how many programs you have open on your computer. Some of you know. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's kind of small for me. They're small programs though. What do you got, guy? Yes, this guy's so focused. He has 1. And sometimes, like with my grade 9 kids, I teach middle old Lord. Now, she probably doesn't know they're open, so they're probably just dragging her computer down. That's not a problem. But if you're conscious of the fact that all of those are open, you're probably trying to use them all at the same time. And so maybe your attention isn't on the gorilla or whatever your teacher's saying, if that metaphor makes sense to you. If you are able to open the one called loss of sight experiment, it's also referred to as, do you think you know what you really know? We're going to look at that real quick. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. I love that uneven number. I don't. This works. So raise your hand if you have been at this school since secondary, since grade 6. 2 of you, grade 7. 2 of you, grade 8. 3 of you. What was your hand up, William? Grade 9. Some of you, no, I meant started. You keep raising your hand. You're confusing me. Well, I mean, it'd be kind of weird if you're grade 6. It means you kind of left and came back again. If you're here grade 6, we're assuming you were here the whole time. Let's do that again. Who started? You can rephrase that. My bad. Who started our school here in secondary at grade 6? I got 2 of you now. There's just 1. Some of you are like, I don't. Grade 7.
Oh wait, but I started school like.
I'm okay with that. I'm just concerned about your existence in secondary, not Ursha. Okay, about Ursha. So you've been at this campus since grade 6. This campus since grade 7. All right, you started here at grade 7. I'll reverse that. Started in 8. Started in 9. Started in 10. Started this year. Oh, seriously, 2. If you've been at this campus for an extended period of time, let's say grade 6 or grade 7, how familiar are you with this campus? Think about it. Probably very, right?
No, I'm not actually.
You're not. Why not?
I've never been to this one.
Yeah, you've been to this room, but I mean, you know, it's the 3rd floor. You know more or less where it is. You know, all the English teachers are over here, that kind of stuff, right? I mean, it's fairly familiar. Do you know what's behind the door going down the stairs, which is essentially right next to the cafeteria, going down towards the music rooms that says, "Do not enter. Danger." Do you know what's in there?
Wait, the stairs that go up to the cafeteria?
Yeah. Right adjacent to the cafeteria.
Wait, who's in my physics class? Oh, we went there yesterday.
Did you
We
go
went
there
there yesterday. It leads to the top of the roof on top.
That one leads to the top of the roof.
Yeah.
Of the theater.
Yeah.
Why'd you go in there? Sis, don't go in there.
For physics class.
Oh, who took you in there?
Mr. McGarity.
Of course. If there's danger involved or burning stuff, it's like McGarity. Don't mind that electrical shock. Got any Korean people in here? Yeah, there you go. I thought we did. Love that. So who knows, in the back of the library, not in our little community room, but to the right of that, what's back there? There's a door and there's stuff back there.
Library.
In the back of the library. So like where we used the whole brainstorming marker on the wall business, right? And then to the left is that larger room. We use a large classroom. To the right, there's a door. And there's stuff back there.
Storage,
Not library storage. There's other things back there.
like videos.
Nope.
No. I saw Mr. Krieger coming out from that room.
That's different. That is the library storage resource stuff. There's another door. It says don't go in here.
Let's go in there.
There's a glass pane too, so you can kind of see what's going on back there. It says don't go in there. I go in there all the time.
Storage room for coffee.
That would make sense, no?
Pressure.
How about this? Do you know what is in these? How many other random little rooms in here? Like these little storage rooms. How many are there on this floor? In middle school, there's a ton. 2? Do we know?
None.
No, one.
There's one. I know where.
Right over here.
There's like another one.
Oh,
There's
there's
like
two.
2 red boxes.
So if you think about it, it's like you know exactly where McGarton's room is. Like, yeah, the McGarton room, and there's no room after that. But if I ask you something which isn't, not in a negative connotation, which isn't egocentrical, which doesn't revolve around you, you're like, yeah, I don't know. I walk past her all the time. I couldn't tell you. What's on that hall over there? Past the bathrooms. What's over there?
Okay. I don't know.
There's some lounge thing with used to do computer orientated stuff. What else is over there? There's a what? Spider? That's right.
No, there's like
There is. Hilarious. There's what? All right, so that,
For the meter too.
yeah. All right, so there's a small classroom over there. And there's the high school, who said books? There's a book room over there, which you would never go into. And you wouldn't know unless you're like being snoopy. Unless some teacher asked you to help them out and carry some books. All right. So who feels confident if I were to take away one of your senses, could you go from here very easily down to Miss O'Hara's classroom?
Oh, I would do that.
If I took away one of your senses.
Yeah,
As long as it's not silent.
it's right by the.
It's not smell.
I know it's.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Obviously, it's your sense of sight.
Yeah.
So before we do this, just think about this. In your little groups, just now we have 3 or 2 tables. Think about your senses, and we know more or less from grade 9, grade 8 imagery about tactiles, touch. We got olfactory, which is smell and maybe taste combined. We got hearing, right? We got sight. Think about this in your daily existence, in the daily functioning existence of a diploma grade 11 student. What is the most important sense that you have? Talk about it, because these tables could have different answers. Then tell me the second most important sentence. So you need to come to some agreement, consensus as a group. Which one is the most important for your functioning as a human being? And which is the second most important?
Versus eyesight.
Sight, hearing.
Because you need to listen to what they're saying.
Yeah. Wait.
Do you think tactile?
No, sight. I don't think it's good.
So you don't get it.
It's
Like, you
just
can't write it.
nice
Yeah,
to,
but
like-
still, you need to like explain how it works.
It is
Being able to talk.
It's just nice to
Is talking with
Only began talking. It's okay. You guys
talk.
still learn.
Yeah, being able to talk
Yes,
is
sir.
hearing.
With your eyes
People
closed.
without hearing.
You must go with your eyes
Some people
closed.
who can hear can't talk.
Some people.
All right, here we go. Luke and the girls. What do the four of you say? What is the most important sense for a functioning grade 11 diploma student? You say sight. Girls, what'd you come up with? Can't do both. You said hearing. Oh, so second was, all right, so most important, I'll assume that's what you meant. The most important would be your hearing, the second is your sight. Boys, what you got?
For an ASU student, like for a student, or
For you, grade 11 DP student.
I think it's going to hear.
Right, let's say hearing.
Hearing. Wow.
Because we have to listen to you talking. Right?
Yeah, and life is probably.
It's all there too.
You just, yeah, you just.
It's on the screen.
But then, like, when
Well,
you
you
read it,
can
you don't understand.
Talk faster than you can write.
But if you hear, you can't.
All right, how about this? Let's just say if you had your hearing, or let's you say we took your hearing away, does this still work?
Yeah.
If we took your sight away, does this still work? Immediately, no. I'm sure there's some science and some training. It wouldn't be easy, but at some point in time, maybe. But I don't know what that would look like. Now, if you think it's sight, or if you think it's hearing, what percent is that in terms of your daily existence? In terms of you relying on this, it's probably half of what I do. It's maybe a fourth of what. It can't be a fourth because it's not the most important. It's going to be 34% or more, since you said it was the most necessary for you. What percent are you reliant on that? Should have came up with that second most important one. And what percent do you rely on that? So half the things I do is relying on sight, maybe 40%. See what these funky numbers come out as. Sometimes they're kind of fun.
Yeah, I guess so.
No, it's just a 2 seconds, right? So I would say that in school that we use hearing, like
We just cite so much.
we use hearing. And
Don't forget, I did say diploma student, but you are not at school
Yeah,
24 hours a day.
But your daily life. not
Daily
just-
life, not just scholastic academic life.
Okay.
Yes, it's your daily
Data
functioning.
life, and I would say sight is more.
See,
Daily life, but at school,
daily life.
okay, yeah,
Is your 24-hour existence there, brother?
Like, but then we don't work. It's always sleep.
Of the AIC students.
I gave you that DP student because it's the person in life that makes the most sense to you because it is you. I'm not asking you to speculate or have some sort of conjecture about what an adult might have to do. But for you, what makes sense in your daily existence, what percent are you people reliant on sight? Got a number?
Sight 30, hearing 30.
You're still talking, I'm cool with that.
Well,
Got 30
add
seconds.
another factor. Yeah. So if you add up olfactory, tactile, and all of them, it should add up to 100% probably. Right?
Should, and we're just gonna worry about what you said was the most relevant, the most important, and the second most
that's
important.
just 2.
Yeah.
So sight, I would, in daily life, I'd say, and also at school, it'd be around 65.
40 completely.
I don't want to say 60 because that seems too little, and then 70 seems too much.
I feel like
Or 65, 65 is
Concerned about the numbers.
I think they're for hearing.
So for example, if you said it was like 40 and.
Use hearing a lot.
And for sight, I just put 30 as well. Or maybe 35.
No, but it's only 2.
Yeah, it's only 2.
Woo! I thought you guys were good at math. Girls and William, what percent, did you say hearing or sight before? You said hearing first. I'll let you change your mind. What's the most necessary for the four of you? It is sight. What percent of your daily functioning existence is reliant on seeing things? She said, okay, a little bit more than a third. Interesting. 45? Boys, what do you got? You said it was hearing. What percent of your daily functioning life is necessary for you to have hearing?
We didn't agree on a certain number, but
All right, more or less in between what and what?
he said 65, I'd say 35.
65.
I'd
Good
say
Lord.
35.
All right.
Somewhere
I
in
like
between.
that. You're all over the place. We don't have to agree. It's okay. So we'll just break it right down the middle. Agree to
Let's say 40.
disagree.
Let's say 40. Yeah,
Take the mean of the
45.
two. All right. What do you guys got? 45 on sight. And did you give a number for what was your most secondary? So hearing.
Tactile.
All right. Who said that something other than hearing and seeing was more important than those two? Did anybody have tactile or olfactory as your second most important sense? Overwhelmingly, it is the sight thing. It really is. You could argue what's more important to you. If you start thinking about functioning, like really, just like getting out of the house, finding your stuff, where your things are, catching the bus, going from point A to point B, all of this would cease to exist in 2 seconds.
But then, Mr. White,
Yeah.
if we don't look at the doorknob while we're opening the door, but rather just look at the door and just habitually touch the doorknob and open it,
Is this a metaphor, or do you really mean a doorknob?
an actual doorknob. You turn the doorknob to open a door, right? Yeah. and-
So you're arguing tactile.
And yeah, if you're not looking at the doorknob, it's probably going to be tactile because you're feeling the doorknob to turn it.
Here's the thing. Some smart people will argue the tactile thing is like, well, I can't stand up if I don't feel the ground. And
No, I'm not talking
Well,
about
I know that's an extreme, but my point is, if you want to sit there, and don't do it too long because we don't need any permanent nerve damage. But if you were to cut the circulation out of your hand and you really couldn't feel anything for like 8 seconds or 3 seconds, you could still grab this and drink some water.
But still, you would have to look at the cup. You can stand without
Sure.
having tactile sense.
You can stand to have without tactile, but as long as we're just talking about a removal of one sense, I think you're kind of suggesting both would be really, detrimental. All right, so what's going to happen today, and we have an odd number, so we'll figure out how that's going to work, but for the most part, you're going to work with a partner, right? Buddies, and we'll have a group of 3. We'll see how that works. Maybe you guys make sense, you're already in 3s. So what's going to happen is, and I can read all this stuff, it makes sense. Don't have to, but I think I will. So, look at the intention experiments is to deprive you of your primary sense, which is sight. And you'll lose that for a long enough period to figure some things out. Hopefully some fantastic reflective terms like empathize might come into play. Creative thinking in terms of that being a way of knowledge. Memory also will come into play in terms of way of knowledge. If you've been here since grade 6, then you better know what the school looks like. It just makes sense. You know how the halls work. You know more or less what the stairs feel like. Some of you will completely lose all sense of memory, all sense of space, and all sense of imagination and start doing really funny, weird things. It's awesome. As soon as that blindfold goes on your face, you're just completely helpless. Now, in terms of being completely helpless, please listen to this. It'll make or break this experiment for the blind person today. We have your buddy who's called the preventative sight individual. That's what I'm going to call it. Originally, we called it the sight guide. Some people thought you were some sort of seeing eye dog and just grabbed people by the neck and pushed them around campus. And their reflection is horrible, and the whole day was boring. So if you're like Mr. or Mrs. Bossy Pants, please don't. Don't be like, watch you steps, take a right hand, touch doors. Like, super boring and not fun for anybody. The sight helper is to make sure they don't, and that's what that no YouTube videos mean. We love to watch YouTube videos where people fall down, people get hurt, things break, there's a little bit of blood. That's the only thing you're there to do is say, stop. If they get really upset and really, really lost and they start to cry, then you might be like, okay, you're here. Right in front of you is X. Then they can find their bearings and they can start all over again using that sense of, in this case, that way of knowledge, which is imagination and memory. So don't get all super bossy. Don't tell them exactly where they're at. They need to be independent and rely on that sense of memory, right? And also that perception and imagination. Normally we do a test run we're a little strapped on time. So we're going to go straight to the experiment. Are we? I'm terribly strapped. And I keep looking at that clock as if it works, and it says it's 7:50. It's like, yeah, we got lots of time. We got like 4 hours. I have bad vision. I don't have bad vision. That says a lot about your sense of perception. I just look at the minute hand. All that's wrong. We got time. So let's do a trial run. Who raised their hand in terms of confidence before? Who's a grade or 6, 7 person who can make it from here to Miss O'Hara's class in 3.5 minutes without hurting themselves, the trophy cases, or anybody else? 4 minutes.
I mean, I can do it, but
All right, Dr. Steve.
I'm pretty sure I can do it. But I'm not sure if I can come back alive.
We're not. No. If you make it and you're still breathing, we'll let you take the blindfold off. Yeah, here's one of your grade 11 colleagues is a complete weirdo, and they're like, "Oh, this hurts my eyes." You're supposed to close your eyes. I think they're the one who's like, the most important thing is texture and touching, and they were literally. I'm not going to say her name, but it was a girl. I was like, why would you not close your eyes? She's like, of course it hurts. All right, now you put this on yourself. How's that? Good?
Can't see anything.
That's the idea.
I don't know.
Your eyes are closed, right?
Yeah.
All right, there you go. You look like some kind of really dysfunctional karate kid. All right, we're not going to say anything. We'll be super quiet. We're just going to follow you. Sight guides, you don't want to walk in front because then they just follow your. Look at that. Wow. That was awesome stuff. The power move.
William, you can see and you still.
When do we start counting? Or
I'll let them know. Yay! Go ahead and have out a phone. Phones are good. How about your phone? Phones are good.
That's super hard.
All right. Thank you, Steve. So on to that.
Okay.
so hard, man. Wait.
So it was fun. It was funny watching Steve do that. All of a sudden, his sense of everything is off, right? Distorted, lost, whatever you want to call that. So I'm going to give you a series of tasks. The 2 of you, and maybe the 3 of you, and it will work. Are going to be given a series of tasks. They're all pretty much the same, but I'm going to give them in different orders. That way we don't have a pack of blind people like The Walking Dead, going all in the same direction. You'll just hear the crowd. So if you walk in front of them, they will just follow your footsteps. You kind of need to be behind them. If they walk in some dangerous situation, when they get to the stairs, you might want to be around them. We had one girl in grade 11 who does not know what stairs do when she's blindfolded because she was the most fantastic thing ever. We all know, if your hand's on there, stairs go up and down. This is the stair case, this is the rail. She was doing this. And it was the craziest thing ever. Awesome photos of her. And another one of your grade. He wouldn't walk like this. He was doing this. And then doing this. Everybody has their own weird technique. You started off strong because here's the thing. You know what the lockers do, right?
Yeah.
The other side was problematic. And so what happens is everybody's watching you, and now these other senses and ways of knowledge in terms of emotion come into play. Now what happens with we take away your sight, increase that emotional level, and you get disorientated, and now you don't know where to start, and now everything starts to disintegrate and go downhill quite quickly. So here we go. Directions. You decide a partner. You choose. I don't care. Right? If you are blind today, you are the preventative overseer person next time. So you will switch roles. Right? The sight guide should read the list of tasks. You're going to put that on your phone, so that way you have the list with you. You don't have to forget and come back to class or ask me. Right? Once you complete the first one I give you, hey, I don't care which one you do next. Just make sure you do all of those on the list. As the sight guide, you can tell them, okay, done the first one. Now I need you to go from here to the other one. You can be nice, you can be mean, whichever one you think is most difficult. It's completely up to you. Here we go. Group A. One of you will get an A, some will get a 2. Walk down the stairs and check out a work of fiction. My author, whose last name starts with H or S. So think about what this in terms of scaffolding and helping people, but not doing things for people. Our library's changed the organization of that. So that's going to mess with a lot of you, which is cool. It's like, you know, it used to be here. I've noticed it looks different, but I haven't really had a need to go over that. So you might be able to make it to more or less where some books are. If they find the right section, they're not going to be able to know which is the S or the H. Because it's alphabetical, if they're at Z, tell them you're at Z. And see if they can more or less try to find their way. And if they're at the bottom and it's Q, then they might know that the next one's going to be going alphabetically, right? Sequentially higher. You have to think about what you know what the decimal system is. And how the books work from going probably lower letters to higher letters, lower letters to higher letters. It's usually how library works in terms of shelving. So you're not going to walk into like, nailed it. That'd be pretty weird. But you might be more reliant on certain things and incorporate some stuff, and it might be quite cool, and you'll be surprised about how well you do. Same thing for other people, you just won't be in the same sections. You'll go to the library and you'll check out a work of fiction with D or F. You better check it out. So if you don't have your card with you, think about this if you're how confusing would this wallet be in terms of the card? Some cards, if it's a credit card, it might feel different from other credit cards. But if it's like this card I know is messed up, I could identify this. This one would feel exactly like my silly grocery store card. So I would have to keep it on the right and keep it on the left, and I have to know that. So if you want to go ahead and as a blind person, you'll decide who's that in a second. If you want to get ready with that card, great. Make sure you tell the librarian when to check you out. Thank you. C. You will navigate down to the high school office, right? You'll say hello to Miss Rock or Miss Swine. You'll have a seat in some sort of furniture. Sit there for 30 whole seconds. I like that word, rest, because you're going to be so tired from being blind. While resting, tell your partner what's in the room. Now, what happens with this is you're working your memory, right, which is a way of knowledge. You're also working the other senses. So you might hear things. You might recognize it's Miss Lindsay. Like you recognize that voice. You can hear a mile away. It's like Miss Lindsay's screaming at some kid about college apps, mittens, doing this. You know where people are, right? So that sort of reliance on other senses when the one sense is taken away. See what you can do with that. And also see how confident they are at describing a room improperly. This is always fun. Yeah, this is over there, and that's over there. It's like, what? No, that's not. You're completely wrong. Don't tell them at the time. Just tell them afterwards. It's quite fun. So something else to think about. Your reflection for this, pay attention, it's not just when you're blind. It's also your observations about what someone who loses their sight does. Their levels of confidence, their levels of lack of confidence, insecurity, those sorts of things. Both of those will be the basis for your reflection. C2, same thing, but you'll go to the middle school office. You'll sit there and say hello to Miss Emma. Try to describe that. You started here in high school, you might not know what that middle school office sounds like, so you're working on hearing and maybe some tactile things about what that couch feels like, which isn't a whole lot. D, find a high school classroom that is not in session. How do you know it's not in session? You can't go to the ones you already know that are not in session. So you're going to have to do a little bit of listening, maybe a little bit of knocking, maybe a little bit of opening. When you walk in, make sure you introduce yourself to that teacher. There has to be a teacher there. How do you find that out? Do not tell them. This room has no one in it except for our teacher. Go in. You don't say anything. Now, psych guys, if they touch those little round red things, that's when you say stop. Right? So we can't have a bunch of blind people doing a fire drill. Strangely enough, it makes sense. They're there where people's hands would be in case of emergency, and people be doing this. So don't let them hit a false alarm with a fire drill. It would be fun. So, find one that's not in session, introduce, shake the hand of the teacher, remember his or her name. Some of the teachers knew. Same thing. D2, you do the same thing, but on the middle school level. Everybody gets all weird. E, come back to class by yourself. Sit, it's always by yourself. Find your desk where you're sitting today. Sit down, then you personally, by yourself, take off your blindfold. Don't worry about this stuff right here. So what's going to happen is I'm going to give you a couple seconds. Can you three work together?
Yeah.
Cool. So just one blind guide today with two sight guides. Yeah. Which one of you really want to do anything? Decide who the blind guy's going to be. Steve's already started. He's got some experience. You guys break off into pairs. Give about 15 seconds outside. Who's going to be blind today? That means the other guy will be blind next time we come back to class on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
That was pretty crazy, man.
All right, cool. Awesome. All right, here we go. Are you guys working in pairs? I'm just making some assumptions. Over here, are you guys working? And you're working with? All right, so you guys can do, start with, I don't care which one you do after this. If you want to take a photo of your screen to know what the steps are, great. That's why that phone's going to be useful. So you remember these steps. I will give you which one I want you to start with. After that, because you two or you will be in charge of not being blind, you tell them the next step. And as long as they do an A and a C and
There's no B.
there's no B. Boring, right? It's a boring letter. B. You guys will start with A. You can start with A2. You can start with C. You can start with C2. And you guys can start with D. So as long as you do an A, a C, and a D, that's because I love that band. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
So as long as you do some, start with the one I did, so that way we're not on top of each other. But after that, if you want to go from your C2 to an A or an A2, it's completely up to the sight guy to decide. You're in charge. Come back here, take the blindfold off. Both of you can start writing down some observations for your potential reflection later on. Questions about this guy? Get blind.
Wait, we have to do D1 and D2, right? No, not both. Sorry, do we have to do both?
Yes, you can take a picture of this guy, and I'll make it smaller. You can take it from your screen. Don't know why it doesn't make it smaller.
Mr. White,
Yes.
do we have to do both D1 and D2?
No.
Just either one?
Yeah. So with the A's and the C's and the D's, you do one or the other. You don't have to do all that now.
And we can choose. To
You
do
can
either
choose
one.
which one they do. So if you think it's harder for them and you want to be a jerk, you can take a photo of that guy. That way you have the task with you. Much easier to have it on your phone. Oops, sorry, super slow. No, it's good.
Well, you can type
There you go.
Yeah,
yeah.
Type this. Type
As
this.
soon as you're without sight, you can get
Can I
going.
get it off of your laptop
Alright.
because it's all rainbowy on my screen.
What's wrong with rainbows?
Not like that.
Rainbows.
That's horrible.
Which classroom? No, any classroom.
I might be filming you and putting you on the social media website.
Could
So
I film?
Yeah.
can go now? So now we can go now?
you can go. Yeah, you're in charge.
I got.
You're blind and independent.
Okay, I need to go to the bathroom.
What? No.
Let's go to the bathroom.
Dude,
I need to
no.
go to the bathroom.
If he has to go to the bathroom, let him go. Just
Oh
don't
my
let him wash
God.
his hands in that urinal thing.
Oh my.
That'd be really wrong and funny. Don't let it happen. Be funny, but
By
don't
the
let
way,
it happen.
you can't touch this.
Be unsanitary, hilarious, but extremely unsanitary. Just don't let it happen. William's still here.
I don't know.
Do you not have the list of what to do, Wendy?
I do.
Okay, cool.
Okay, keep going. Wait, am I not supposed to tell him?
No. He just does his own thing. You only stop him if he's going to hurt himself or someone else.
They're not like, a little. Okay, go. Do you know where it's at for this? High school, high school. High school.
Oh, I was Mr. Parker. Wait, who doesn't have one? She's done?
Yeah.
Wow, we powered through that. Cool.
Oh my God.
So have a look at some of the questions on this in terms of combination and what you have to do. Without that side, think about the other implements, which are the sense of touch and sense of hearing. You said you can't get the blindfold on.
Here. I want the back picture.
Well, that's good.
That was.